and the grandbabies, and that's Fiona, Becky's daughter. This was our first cancer awareness walk, and you will see Gorilla Man here. This is my husband. We dressed him up as Gorilla, so I have my whole family involved. He was standing on the street waving at everybody, and it was kind of fun. And this is the breast and cancer awareness walk we did. We had 60 participants. This is my husband on the side of the road. And it was very cold. We were all garbed up at 6 o'clock in the morning. So this is him standing on the street waving at everyone. These are our runners lining up for the day. And this is our Coleman run, I guess you would call it. This is Gorilla Man in front of the window rock down at the park. We did a painting the night before, and then we had all this. The women got together and did the signs. These are res pictures. This is Canyon de Chelly, which is about an hour away from our facility. Barbara and Jack had the fun of going down into the canyon. This is White House Runs down in the canyon. This is our cattle on the side of the street here. It's kind of dark. But we have open range on the reservation, so we'll see a lot of cows and a lot of accidents in the middle of the night from cow injuries. This is Chaco Canyon. This is John at Chaco Canyon. It was a very windy day, and my husband's like, please don't take John, but we did. And this is John getting his Junior Ranger at Chaco Canyon. The Rangers had a real good time with John. This is Monument Valley. This is part of the John Wayne, the movies you'll see. It's about 3 hours away from up on the reservation. And Deborah Lee in the back, this is where she is now. It's up near Monument Valley, Kayenta. This is our snow from when we had the snow disaster and we shut down the hospital. This is Rosalind Carter and me. That was in Georgia. That was a fun party. And these are my children, Alex and Gwen. We do involve a lot of the children. My children, when they go to Hilltop, they're in a Christian school. They are very involved with cancer awareness. They'll come home and go, Mom, can you bring me information? I have a teacher that's got cancer, or we got somebody in dietary. So my children are very involved with the cancer awareness. And this is John in the leg lamp. That was at Christmas. And that's it.
My name is Fred Hubbard. I'm the director for the Arizona Advisory Council on Indian Healthcare, which I work with the 22 tribes here in the state of Arizona on many of their healthcare issues. I'm going into my 4th year. I am Navajo, Tohono O'odham, and they're two of the largest reservations here in the state of Arizona, Navajo being the largest reservation in the nation. And Tohono O'odham, I'm sure, follows a close second, if not the third. On my clan, my mother's side is the Totachini, which is bitter water in Navajo. And on my father's side is the Bahana, which is edge of water. So being of the two clans, that's how you introduce yourself to your fellow relatives. And as the Belagana here introduced her relatives, that's how we do on our reservations. I am retired from the federal government, having worked many of those years in the Indian Health Service. And we had lunch with Dr. Kyle at noon today, and I gave him a short orientation on the development of the Indian Health Service. Which I've been fortunate to be having worked with for 27 years and had retired from that. Upon that retirement, I immediately went to work with the White Mountain Apache tribe in all their health programs, working for 9 years, and retired from that program before coming here to the present position that I'm in. So in one of my first conferences, and I don't know how I really missed meeting her, the first introduction was Barbara. But believe me, we were standing in line at another conference, and I was standing in line getting some goodies. Somebody kept tugging away at me in my back, and I said, hey, who is this? And it was Barbara. But we got to talk, and certainly got to learn more about what her initiatives were. And almost 2 months later, I was invited to the new hospital at Ft.Defiance. It's a huge facility, brand new facility. It's just like a big shopping mall, and it's never the standard design of what the Indian health facilities are throughout the nation. It's got a totally new, modern design to it. All the clinics are broken out in different sections of the building, and each of the clinics has their own waiting room, instead of one major waiting room where all the patients used to congregate in one waiting room. And you can well imagine what circus that was in terms of babies crying, people sick, moaning, and nurses hollering out your name, come to this clinic or whatever. Now they're broken up, and they're all into Pacific waiting areas in the Pacific clinics. And it's a very nice facility, and it's a huge undertaking by the Navajo Nation, which is now taking on the challenge to manage its own health program, which is the Ft.Defiance Hospital. This is a tremendous challenge that many of the tribes nationally, there are 568 tribes nationally, half of these tribes have decided to, under existing law, to take over and manage their own programs under the Indian Health Service, which has been a tremendous change in how services are delivered. Not only is there a new, energy to look for resources and being able to collaborate outside the federal revenue stream of resources, the only source that IHS always reverted to and counted on, and that's all congressional funding. With tribes taking over and managing their own programs, they now were able to seek and expand out and seek wherever funding was available. And that could come from many sources, as you folks who work with the private sectors know. So the ability to expand upon delivery of services has been tremendous for tribes, and the patients have certainly benefited. But still, disparities exist. And I'm going to show you some figures that are still astonishingly, even though they're still several years old, they're still current. And even more astonishing is this conference you're going to see is not identified. The cancer numbers are not identified in the numbers I'm going to show you, and I'll tell you once I'm through explaining this to you. So with the first slide. Well, before I even get to those numbers, here's what the tribes and health delivery programs experience on reservations and in rural communities where the natives live. Certainly we got geographical challenges. You saw the outhouse? How many of you saw the stones leading to the outhouse? Can you imagine why those stones are there? When it rains, that ground turns to mud. And if you look at roads on the rural reservations, it's all dirt and really clay. So when it rains, snows, or whatever, it turns to mud. Totally impossible to get through. The only highways you have are the state highways or major interstate